Okay, in the coach's corner today, Beth has asked me to talk about a topic, and here's the question of the day: how do you balance X's and O's with ministry? So you're a coach, you're a believer, and so you feel like ministry is important; it's a part of your job. But how do you balance that with like whatever sport that you're coaching, the X's and O's, the schematics, the practice, the winning the game, and consistently winning the game? How do you balance those two things? So I'll share some thoughts on how you do that. I think it starts with the mindset. And here's the mindset that I try to have, and I'd say the only way you'll have a chance to balance it is if ministry is the job. Like your mindset has to be ministry is the job. If you are a follower of Jesus Christ, then the Great Commission, Matthew 28, has to be the forefront of your life. Your life is about making disciples. Your life is about being the human expression of God's love and care for his people. And you have a job as a coach that allows you to be around people. And so that great commission that God has given you, you just apply it to your job. You apply it to the people around you. So ministry is always the job. Ministry is the mindset. That's how you start as a coach. Let me come from it from a different angle. What is a coach? A coach, in its original definition, a coach was a covered carriage used to take a person of importance from the place that they are to the place that they need to go. And so, again, this is just another way of saying ministry is the mindset. So, our job as a coach is we have people under our care who are very important. They're important to God, they're important to us. And so they're in a place, and we're saying my job as a coach is to take them to the place that they need to go. And they may not even know what that is. When we're talking about coaching, they don't know what life will be like 20, 30, 40 years down the road. They don't necessarily, it's hard 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds to really imagine all the character and the skills and who you need to be as a person to be equipped to handle the future that us adults are learning to handle, still learning to handle. And so ministry is the job. That's the mindset. The job of a coach, take people where they are to where they need to go. That is the job. And so you have to start there if you want to balance your X's and O's. Ministry is a job, but they do pay you for your X's and O's. So that is a reality that I am aware of. You get paid for your X's and O's. You get paid for winning games and winning games consistently. Um, People will talk about, we love your character development. We love what you're doing in the lives of the men and women that you're coaching and how they're maturing and the different things that you're doing. They may see a difference, but if your X's and O's is not in place, if you're not winning, they're going to stop paying you. They'll pay somebody else to do it. And so there's a reality about that. But what I would say is winning is a bottomless pit that is never filled. And so if you start with the job is X's and O's, if you start with that, then because that's a bottomless pit that is never full, that is never satisfied. I mean, if you win consistently, you'll begin to hear about not just winning the game, but how you won. People will actually complain about how you won. You won a close game that should have been a blowout. Things like that. It is just a it is a bottom. The only way I can say it is a bottomless pit that never satisfied. And so when you start with the X's and O's, when you start with that bottomless pit, um, it will push out ministry. It would always push out ministry because it is never ending. You can always watch more film. You can always practice more. You can always do something else to develop your players on the field. And so, yes, you get paid for that, but I think it's a trap if you start there. I think you got to start with the ministry and understand that, yes, I have to be good at my X's and O's, but ministry is the job. You have to start there. That's how you balance those things, and that's the question. How do you balance it? If you start with the X's and O's, I think it's almost impossible to balance ministry with the X's and O's. Um, it is just kind of like money. People never have enough. They just want a little bit more. Okay. Most people are never satisfied. They just need a little bit more. That mindset is the same thing with X's and O's. It never ends. So ministry is a job, but they pay you for your X's and O's, so you got to be good at it. But I'm still saying the mindset must start with ministry is a job. So I'll give you 2 key points on how you do it, but with some practical things. Hire ministry oriented coaches. Find them, ask for them. You in your evaluation process, your hiring process, you have to ask questions to figure out if this is a person that ministry is important to them, or it can be important to them because it's important to you. You got to find a way to ask those questions. Um, so I think that's extremely important. We obviously don't always have the opportunity to hire whoever we want. People may be already on your staff, and so regardless, you got to be able to train them once you hire them, or somebody who's already on your staff. Train them. So that means you have to be able to articulate a vision of what you're looking for and what the practical things that coaches need to be doing to minister to their players. So you have to have a clear picture of that, and then you have to be able to train them, and you have to be able to evaluate them. You get what you evaluate. There's no doubt about that. You get what you emphasize. And if this is something that you talk about, but you don't evaluate with your coaches, is less likely to get it. Let me back up a second. If if you don't hire people who are ministry oriented, or who has the ability, like see it as a value, and they buy into it, your ministry is going to get in the way of the X's and O's to them. And so I have to caution you about the mindset of the coaches that you work with. Your ministry activities, the things that maybe you see as value, like you see it as a job, but they see their job as X's and O's, then the afterglow, if you maybe have themes, character themes that maybe you'll do with your team, just anything that you feel like will our ministry opportunity tools to develop your players. Those are things that's going to get in the way to X's and O's for a coach who doesn't care about that kind of stuff. Like if they're thinking like, man, it's about winning, this stuff is taking away my time. And so that's why I caution you to really think about hiring people if you have the opportunity. If you don't have an opportunity to hire, well, regardless, whoever's on your staff, you better train them and make clear expectations of what it's going to look like. Continue casting a vision to try to create the buy-in. Try to make sure your coaches are coachable. If they're not coachable, they shouldn't be on your staff anyway. Coachable means that they're willing to do what you ask them to do, even if they disagree. So and then evaluate them. Make clear expectations and evaluate them. And yeah, that's how it will start. The second thing, practical thing you got to do once ministry is the job, if that's your mindset, you have to schedule it first. Then you build your X's and O's around it. The reality is, us as coaches, the X's and O's will be there. And again, you never feel like you have enough time. I mean, 99% of coaches out there never feel like they have enough time. There's always something to work on. And so if you build your practice plan, if you build your weekly schedule, and you start with the X's and O's, and then you try to plug in these ministry things, I guarantee the ministry will get pushed out. The ministry will get minimized. And so if you want to balance these things, it's a mindset, and then you schedule it. It's a mindset, you hire the right people, and then you schedule it first. Schedule those ministry tools that you're going to use, spread them throughout the program, throughout the week, reinforce those things, it has to be kind of a daily part of who you are if it's important. And then you build your X's and O's around it. You build your, football, you build your special teams meetings, your offense, defense, game plan, and walkthroughs. Okay, all those things, you build it around your ministry tools that you will use. So that's how you get it done. That's how you balance, at least in my opinion, that's how you balance your X's and O's. You start with ministry is the job. That's the job. Yes, they pay you for your X's and O's, but the mindset has to be ministry is the job. And then you have a better chance to really balance these things and be effective in both areas.